So give me your third guy.
Yeah, I mean, third guy is Jabari Smith. He is, to
Mm-hmm.
me, like the safe pick. If you don't want to miss, you're not going to miss on Jabari. Worst case scenario, you're going to get a 6'10" dude who can defend the perimeter, who can to some extent play inside defense and play weaks and play help side,
Mm-hmm.
who's going to be an elite shooter. Um, but there's like two glaring holes in Jabari's game that make me think you're probably going to be a really elite role player. I'm not sure if you can be a star. And that is, he really struggles finishing at the rim, which is one of the most important things in the NBA. If you go and look at his percentages, he's pretty much got the same percentage from the field that he does from three, and that's pretty concerning. And if you watch him play, the eye test, he struggles with physicality, finishing at the rim. He's not the craftiest dude. He doesn't have the most lift where he can hang and then have like try and do some crazy finishes. So I don't really see the tools to become one either. So to me, that's a big concern about Jabari. It's something that he can fix, but it's still a big concern that he'd rather like shoot a really long contested free throw, like mid-range jumper, than he would. I think at the NBA level, people will overplay his jump shot a lot, and the fact that he can't punish and attack players that are playing too far up on him will be a problem at the NBA level, and that's pretty bad for his potential. That's something he can work on, as I said, but not really buying it in that sense.
Okay.
And the other thing is his handle is just not there at all.
Right.
Like Christian Wood, I don't really like Christian Wood, but Christian Wood's someone who can bring the ball up the floor and attack in transition
Mm-hmm.
if need be. Jabari, like as simple as dribbling the ball up the court in transition with speed, that's already too tough for Jabari. Now imagine if that's already tough for him. Imagine if a lot of people like to project like a KD level game where he's just gonna shoot over everyone. I don't see it because KD has a really good handle for his size, and that's what allows him to create enough space to shoot over people. Like you were never going to block this guy's shot, right? But you still need some space to be comfortable shooting the ball, and I don't see the handle on Jabari being good enough to for him to become a star. I think if you like a taller Mikal Bridges, maybe. Um, I think the other thing
They
is
said Jabari to me is like a Jaren Jackson Jr.
to an extent, but with better perimeter defense, worse inside defense, in my opinion, and a weaker inside game where he's not as physical
Yes. As
as
Jaren.
as Triple J is. But the other thing is, when I'm looking at these prospects, I'm thinking, what's more likely that Jabari evolves? Let's look at it. Imagine this is 2K, and you've got
Mm-hmm.
Jabari who has a handle and a finishing inside at a 20, and you need him to get that up to a 70, but he's like a 99 at these other categories. Is it is it easier for him to like build those from the ground up at the NBA level, or is it easier for Banquero, who has all the intangibles and is like a 70s across the board, to pick 3 or 4 categories and take those all the way up and turn those into a 90, and now you have like this really fundamentally sound player who's elite at some stuff, and that's going to be a star. I think it's more likely that Banquero refines his game, becomes more efficient, and becomes elite at some things than it is for Jabari, who's elite at a lot of things, to
That's
become good
interesting.
enough at these two big holes that he has in his game. This is ultimately the difference between role players and stars. Like, look at a guy like Robert Covington, like insane defender, weak side, right? Like 99, good shooter, like 85. But then you look at the other parts of his game, like this guy's not gonna score on you. Like he has no creativity whatsoever
Mm-hmm.
to either like be a playmaker or just be a scorer in general. But then you look at someone like, I don't know, like any star in the league, like they have a fundamental basis, like a fundamental group of skills that they are really good at, and then they're elite at some stuff, and that's what makes them stars. So I think if you want to go safe, go Jabari. If you want to go for the best ceiling, go Paolo, or the most achievable best ceiling, go Paolo. And for the Rockets, I think they're in a position where they should go for the best ceiling still. I'm really high on Jalen. I think he is guaranteed to be a star, and
Mm-hmm.
he's the guy they should build around. But nowadays, teams don't have two stars. Teams have two superstars and then they have a third star, or they have
Yep.
three superstars like completely. They at the very minimum have three guys that can generate their own shot. And this is true for almost every contender. Like long gone are the days where you have one guy like a James Harden and you build around him and he takes you to the top. Like Dirk Nowitzki, like that kind of
Player.
way to build a championship is gone nowadays.
Yeah.
People are just going to keep building super teams because that's how the way the league is going. So you need more than like the guaranteed guy in Chengdu in green, the maybe guy in Chenggun. I would go for Banchero because I think they need at least three, and I think Banchero has the potential to be like I think he would be the second best prospect on this team. Above Şengün, that might be a hot take because of what Şengün has shown us, but that's how I feel. And he's a really, really good fit with Jalen, where Jalen is someone who can create on ball. But if you looked at him last game against the Kings, like he's someone who has the ball, where he gives it away really, really easily to whatever player, and he'll relocate like really quickly. There was a couple of plays last night where he drives in, gets cut
Hmm.
off, passes the ball to a role player, and immediately relocates to the 3 point line and gets a wide open shot. Kind of like, in a weird way, kind of like Steph Curry, where he's just moving all over the place. And
Relocates. Yep.
yeah, and Banchero is someone with a high IQ, a high passing IQ, who's going to find him where he when he does this kind of stuff. So I think like if you look at it in a vacuum between Banchero and Jalen, that's a really really exciting two-man like core to build around. And then you've got Changun who even adds on top of that.
So Tyson in the comments says Jabari will be a glue guy or an ultra role player. Pretty much what you said.
Yep.